before Bunny, before SCD, we had Night of Knee. This was the first beetle weight we had a go at. Wasn't particularly successful. We ended up just chucking it in a box, forgetting about it really. But let's have a go at restoring it and see how we get on. Yeah, that didn't go particularly well, did it? That was at the Beetleweight Euros from 2017, I think. And ever since then, it's been in a box. So, dug out all the bits. Here's a few bits. This is basically, well, basically as it stood, damage and all. So we'll reuse some of these bits, but to be fair, we'll probably remake a lot of it. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that even is made of. There's a clip of the battery. And this base plate. Now, this took a beating, and it's all kind of warped and in weird shape now. So what we'll do is we'll remake that, because it's now in a state where it's just kind of not really usable. It's too thin anyway. It's only 2mm HDPE. Very flexible, yes, but not exactly great for a base for a robot. So managed to make a pretendo bot by finding some of the other bits, namely the polycarbs for the side. And these things, made out of PVC, I think. Can't remember what they came off, but they're clearly they're not. Don't use them in combat robots. They're brittle and they crack. Didn't know that at the time, of course. Brush motors were what were originally in it, but I don't actually own any brushed stuff at all now, so that will be changed for brushless. Some FingerTech foamy wheels with the original red hubs on them. These are alright. They're not the grippiest thing unless you add a sort of level of latex around them, but for our purposes it'll be fine. The lid with the original wedge, you can see it's quite dusty. It had a bit carved out the back of it for weight saving reasons. It used to be a flipper. Well, I say a flipper, more of a sort of servo powered lifter thing. And then the original battery, which is a 12-volt AA NiCad pack, if you like. Yeah, these are very heavy, and it's there's a reason that people don't use them. So here we go. We're on to the base plate again. What was wrong with it? Quite a few things actually. It's got gnawed on one side, it's got bent up on the other side. And yeah, probably I could use a heat gun and try and straighten it out, but it's not really thick enough. So instead, we've printed a template for a new base. So here's the original base, and then the new base. So you see this is a bit more rigid than the previous base, due for our purposes. As mentioned earlier, we had these PVC corners that we were using for mounting everything together. So instead we've made some out of HDPE, again you can see it's cracked up. So some bent HDPE, thin stuff, I think 1.5, something like that. The other thing we'll do is we'll replace the screws. So these original screws, I think we bought them from like Wilco or something, with these high tensile ones, just because I've got a box full of them, same size, same shape, and they make a much better job. And then polycarbonate sides. So you'll note here that we actually took a saw blade to the sort of like the bend, if you like, in the polycarbonate. But we didn't fill it in with anything at the time. Now, seemed like a good idea at the time, but I think what we'll do is we'll run a bead of glue or something down there to kind of fill it out. So here we go. So just hot glue basically, just down in a strip to fill the gap. Whilst I was at it, I did actually do some filler work to where the polycarbonate got chipped. For this project, I'm not going to buy some new polycarbonate and make new sides for it, so let's just repair the ones we've got. And here we have it, all bolted together, well, mostly bolted together. So we still got to fit the parts that fits the back to the base. And so here's the strip that would fit the back to the base, and there's a little spacer in there as well. So we bolted that through. So the original brackets aren't really designed for the brushless motors we're going to use, so 3D printed some that would fit the old mountings, so the old ones in the bottom of the HDPE. We also printed some nice end caps as well. These are outrunner motors, so in order to get them protected from any sort of cables getting tangled in them. This is the completed unit, screwed to the base, and then this mystery item. I'm pretty sure it's off like guttering or something. So the idea is that this is all kind of a sandwich, if you like, with the two parts, as you'll see later. So with the bottom half fitted, here's the top half, which is the HDPE block, and it wedges the other HDPE part between the two halves. So about this point, I decide I don't actually like those brackets at all. So printed some more fancy ones. So these are designed to kind of clamp the motor between a top half and a bottom half. Also makes the motors easier to get out. Previous design was all in one piece, so getting the motors out was a nightmare. So we fit the motor into the top of the bracket. Fits nicely. You notice there's two little kind of like cutouts, one for the motor and one for the outrunner. And then there's this, which is a top cap. You notice it's a different colour. I simply ran out of that particular type of filament when I was printing it, so I had to use a different type of filament. Those both fit together. And then its counterpart for the other side. So here we are with all the nuts and bolts in and the front bracket fitted. So that's it complete and clamped in there. It's not going anywhere. And so these all mount to the HDPE base plate. This is all for rigidity and also for the spacings that are required. But again, this will go on top of the other HDPE part for the back bracket and sandwich the whole lot together. So here's a bit more detail about the sandwich. You see the HDPE, the mystery block, and the HDPE for the back bracket is all kind of wedged together, and then it's screwed all the way through, bolted. I'll keep the back rigid to the base plate. And here you have the whole thing assembled, all the bolts in, all the bolts screwed down. The one thing I'm kind of interested in is I might put another piece of HDPE across the back. I mean, there wasn't one originally, but it might help. And we're done. Nah, just kidding. We've still got loads to do. Weapons got to go in, electronics has got to go in. We've got to finish up brackets, but we'll save that for another time.